Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you to Kevin and Zahra and the team for having me. I just want to reiterate the acknowledgement to country and acknowledge that the land on which we meet today belongs to First Nations people. And I imagine we all pay our respects to elders past, present and emerging. So, as I said, my name is Grace Partridge, and I'm an artist who has somewhat inadvertently always had a split focus across my life in both the artistic and social justice spheres. But what I'm going to speak to you about today are my roles as the founder and artistic director of Antidote, and my role as the New South Wales state leader of the Amnesty Artillery Action Group, and speak about how I believe that artistic practice can inform social outcomes and can open avenues for conversation, reflection, and ultimately change. So I'm just going to share a really quick anecdote about the moment in my life which really informed my career path. So during my first year of university, where I was studying theatre and performance studies, we had to go and see a show at Belvoir and write a review. So I saw a show called 17 Candles about a young girl with cancer, and due to a dramatic twist ending that I was not mentally prepared for, I spent a decent half an hour in the foyer afterwards sobbing, and like embarrassingly uncontrollably. And I was so moved and upset by this story that the next week I signed up for the world's greatest shave, and a month later this was me. Bit of a cop-out. I know it's only a number one. Sorry, everyone. The sticklers out there who are like, you didn't do it properly. So now I imagine that some of you are thinking that I'm either a clinical nutcase or was having a Britney Spears moment. But this experience just showed me how much we can truly reach people, and in a really profound way, because I felt such loss and sadness. And realised that if everyone in the world could experience the emotions of those who are suffering, I think we would be more willing to help in any way that we could. So throughout my time at university, where I did a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Music, I had the great privilege and pleasure of volunteering and working on a number of projects that furthered my understanding of how to lead and how to make work that could illuminate issues that need to be heard. Just a couple of examples up here. So all of this led me to starting Antidote, which is a network at the intersection of arts and social justice. I'm a firm believer that living in a day and age where we have near constant access to everything happening in the world is actually setting us back, because we are oversaturated and desensitized to the point of hopelessness and helplessness. The only way to make it day to day then becomes to completely disengage and subsequently become apathetic. So Antidote's mission is to focus quarterly on a single issue and explore the multiplicity of stories that may exist within it in a nuanced and relatable way. So our first exhibition and quarter was themed Anthropocene, here relating to the geological epoch we are apparently currently living in, which is defined by humans' negative interaction with the earth. So we featured artists like Mike Parr, Isaac Julian, and National Geographic photographer Christina Mittermeier, who explored issues around climate change. We spoke to Cheng Depeng, Marco Chiandetti, and an American filmmaker working in Syria named Laura Doggett, who explored issues around the impacts of people on other people through the many histories and current dilemmas of mass displacement and migration. Our exhibition featured 4 distinct female artists, and we subverted the idea of the Anthropocene by exploring the environmental, social, cultural and political violence of the earth, including the displacement of peoples en masse. So alongside Antidote, I've had the pleasure of being a part of Artillery, a volunteer activist group of Amnesty International. So this presence feels like an important counterpart to my counterpart or That's right, I lost the word, to my work at Antidote, because a question I constantly face is the quantifiable nature of art that explores human rights issues. Sure, we can move people, but at what point does art need to shift into activism? And I should say that this is still a balance that I am trying to explore and establish. A powerful example of Artillery's work was at the General Annual Meeting in 2016. I believe this was in Adelaide. One of Amnesty's focus campaigns currently is called Community is Everything, and works to raise awareness and then to enforce actionable consequences to make changes to the lives of our First Nations people. So the group created a mock crib with bars just like a prison cell. The prison cell symbolises the overrepresentation of Indigenous children in detention, who are 24 times more likely to end up in prison than their non-Indigenous friends. The crib was carried throughout the streets of the community to demonstrate our solidarity with the Indigenous people of Australia. And community members were invited to join in or ask questions, which is an important step towards raising public awareness of human rights in our own backyard. I'd also quickly like to draw attention to an Iranian artist who is working with Artillery this year. His name is Hassam Fatradi, and I should say I had the enormous privilege of meeting him and hearing his story earlier in the year in Brisbane. So he makes these beautiful posters, which are being distributed, they're being printed and distributed Australia-wide, then stuck up on walls. So I urge you to go to the website, artisaarartillery.com, print a poster, and stick it up on a wall. Finally, if any of you are interested, Amnesty is hosting an open call for artists who would like to exhibit work in an upcoming exhibition in Brisbane. So I'd just like to conclude by encouraging all of you to not doubt the power of art as an active and effective way of combating issues of inequality. Because before our governments and our policymakers can put the money and resources where they need to be, it requires mass awareness and a mutual want from the general public to have equality for all. And I'm sure that this process begins when people have open avenues and spaces where they can be challenged and start conversations. Thanks.